So it's the end of the year, and that means today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 worst movies of 2021. Let's get it. Real quick before we get into my top 10, I just want to say please hit the subscribe button down below. It does help my channel a lot. Also, comment what are your top 10 worst movies or just your least favorite movie of 2021. Now, I just want to say this is my opinion. I shouldn't have to say that, but I do. This is my opinion. These are the 10 worst movies that I saw. Some movies that some people saw that hated. I enjoyed. Like, I didn't hate Halloween Kills or Addams Family 2. They're not great, but I didn't think they were some of the worst of 2021. I didn't see every movie this year again, so some of the really bad movies that some people have on their list, I may not because I can't watch every movie. But with that said, let's get into my top 10. Real quick before I give you my number 10, I just want to say some honorable mentions. Space Jam: A New Legacy, what a big disappointment that movie was, but I don't think it was bad enough to go in the top 10. Also, Yes Day, the movie with Jennifer Gardner, and then Home Alone, or Home Sweet Home Alone, and Teen Titans Go See Space Jam. Those are all honorable mentions for some of the worst movies of 2021. But without further ado, my number 10, Tom and Jerry. Now, I was really not looking forward to this movie because I'm more of a Looney Tunes guy. I really love the Looney Tunes. And Tom and Jerry, I've seen parts, and I've seen Tom and Jerry before. It's never been my thing. It's too repetitive. It's the same thing over and over again. And so I wasn't really looking forward to this movie. And when I watched this movie, didn't like it. I did not care for Tom and Jerry. It's boring. It's another one of these animated animals in in New York and live action, and this is again a bad movie. I think how they handled some of the stuff in here doesn't work. I think having these two characters in this movie would be cool, but it's more of a movie about the live action characters and you don't care about them, so it's very unfocused. I don't care about the human characters. I'm here to see Tom and Jerry. Of course they didn't give us that, so that's why it comes in at number 10. In ninth place is the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. I wanted to love this movie so much because the first two SpongeBob movies in the movie trilogy for me work really well and I absolutely love them. The third one, big disappointment. I think it's very unfocused. I did a review for this movie. It's very unfocused. The animation looks great, but to me, it's too all over the place. It doesn't have a consistent story. It didn't work for me, and it's just unfortunately a disappointment. I wanted to love this movie, and of course, I did not. In eighth place for me is Coming to America, one of the worst sequels in modern era. And when I watched the first movie in preparation for this movie, I really enjoyed the first movie. And I think it's because Eddie Murphy plays this guy who doesn't know really what he's doing, but he still means well. And in here, they don't care about that really at all. They make him kind of a jerk, and they really don't. It doesn't feel like the same character. Also, the new characters don't really work. Arsenio Hall is okay in the role. It's not funny. I didn't laugh once in this movie, and it's really a bad sequel because it just wrecks the characters of the original movie, and unfortunately, it's on this list. So, in seventh place, I have Charming. This movie released on Netflix in January. I don't know why I watched it, but it's a bad movie. The animation sucks. It's some of the worst animation it's not Food Fight level bad, but it is not great animation. The story feels like a Shrek carbon copy, and it doesn't work. It's unfunny. The voice acting is bad, the animation's bad, and the story's unfocused. That's why it comes in seventh place. In sixth place is the brand new Anne Hathaway movie, which is called Lockdown, and it takes place during COVID, and it's really boring because for the first hour and 45 minutes, it's supposed to be, first of all, it's supposed to be a heist movie, and I was really interested in that. But for the first hour and 45 minutes, we get the relationship problems during COVID for an hour and 45 minutes. And of course, we came here for a jewel heist movie, but we didn't. Unfortunately, I don't think we got that, because the actual heist takes about 10 minutes and it's done. And it's just a very bizarrely focused movie. It focuses more on the stuff people really don't want to see when they're getting a heist movie, and they want to see the heist. But unfortunately, we didn't get that, and it's really long and it's really boring. In fifth place for me is Bigfoot Family. This is a movie on Netflix. It's another one of those sequels to a movie that nobody saw, like the Norm of the North sequels. But this is a bad movie. Just like Charming, it has bad animation and probably some of the worst voice acting I've ever seen. We have this deep voice. We have, like, I think it's Roger Craig Smith, actually, who's a really good voice actor, but he's playing this, like, 9-year-old boy, and it doesn't work. Some of the animation's bad. It has all the worst qualities of a really young kid's movie. And these are the types of movie that give animation a bad rap. Animation isn't normally for kids like Pixar. Anybody can enjoy those movies. Unfortunately, Bigfoot Family is strictly for little kids, but it's still boring, and it tries to feed all these messages in, but they don't work because the animation voice acting is some of the worst all year. In fourth place is America the Motion Picture. Now, this movie is... I hated this movie, actually. As soon as I got done watching it, I hated it. Some people enjoyed this movie. Critics, I don't think, really like this movie either. And it shows. This movie is trying to rip off shows like Archer and other actually funny things. And the jokes don't work. Some of the characters, I know it's poking fun of the stuff, but to me, it doesn't work. I think I also had a review on this. You can go check that out right now. But I did not like this movie when it came out. The jokes don't land. The characters are uncomfortably unfunny. It just doesn't work. If you're gonna do something like this, make it funny. This wasn't funny at all. The animation feels cheap and lazy, like an Archer ripoff, like I said before. It's not a good movie. If you enjoyed it, that's okay. Again, any of these movies, actually, if you enjoy it, that's great. But to me, I hated this movie. In third place is arguably the most disappointing movie all year, and that's Earwig and the Witch. This is the Studio Ghibli film from this year, and it's disappointing because Studio Ghibli is such a great movie studio. They, of course, they make great movies, and this, unfortunately, is their worst by far, in my opinion. They normally do 2D animated movies, and they went 3D animated or CGI, but it doesn't work at all. First of all, the story is unfocused and extremely bland and boring, and then you have animation that it's not the worst of the year, but it's uncomfortable and ugly to look at. In second place for me is Outside the Wire. Now, a lot of people didn't see this movie. Of course, again, it's on Netflix, and it's a bad movie. This is the most boring movie of the year. It's the most bizarre. It stars Anthony Mackie, and maybe I need to rewatch this, but this was hard to get through. This movie lasted way too long. It's like 2 hours and like 20 minutes, which is too long for a movie like this. They try to do this Avatar-style army movie, it doesn't work. It's bad. It's boring, and that's all I can really say about this movie. Anthony Mackie does an okay job, but for me, it's unfocused, and if I don't remember that much about it, it's a bad movie, and it's really forgettable. But easily in first place, easily is Thunder Force. I think this is going to be number one on most people's worst of the year list. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I did a review on this too. I think it stars Melissa McCarthy, who I don't think she's that funny other than some movies she's in. I think her solo movies don't work all that well, and I think Octavia Spencer is a phenomenal actress, but in this movie she's good in this movie too, but some of the jokes in here are horrible. It's so bad. I wanted to turn this off 10 minutes in. The humor is so juvenile and so bad. It feels like an Adam Sandler movie, but worse. Like, a lot of Adam Sandler movies I love. but they're bad. Like the Grown Ups movies, I absolutely love them. They're horrible. I know that. But this tries to just be this comedy, the superhero comedy. It's the worst comic book movie of the year, and it's the worst just all around movie. It's a bad comedy. It doesn't work. The story's unfocused, and it's some really gross humor in here that doesn't work. So there you guys have it. There's my top 10 worst movies of 2021. I want to hear your list down below. You can be looking forward to some of my videos. I'm going to be doing a top 10 most anticipated movies of 2021, a top 10 favorite series of 2021. I'm going to be ranking every movie I saw in 2021, and I'm going to be ranking all 4 Scream movies ahead of the new ones release. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and as always, you can check out some more videos right now.